When we first conceived the idea of Fleischer's, we conceived the idea of a custom-cut, old-fashioned butcher shop. And so we started the retail end of Fleischer's. When we did that, we thought that the retail part of Fleischer's would be hopefully a resounding success. And what we found was actually that though Fleischer's retail store has been successful, the real demand has been from restaurants in New York City. We act as a source for all of the chefs that we deal with. It's easier for them to call us up than it is for them to call a farmer. We supply some really wonderful three-star restaurants with chefs who are really looking for quality products. They know what they're looking for. They're people who are really interested in connecting with farmers, connecting with their local community, in the same way that our retail customers are, which is a really nice thing to see. And I think that for us, very often people are introduced to this kind of meat and this kind of food in the restaurants that they eat in. You know, it's a way of us getting our name out there as well as our product out there in a way that people sort of naturally accept without them even having to walk into the store. So it's two-sided for us, and it's worked really, really well in our favor. One of the most rewarding part of all of this has been for us to work with the farmers that we work with.
It starts usually with a phone call where someone says they saw a really beautiful farm or the animals look really healthy, if they're doing their own breeding or not. We ask some really basic questions on the phone, and then it's followed up by 2 or 3 visits, and then by the 3rd visit, if it's something that is passing to us and it's, you know, the quality that we're looking for, we buy 1 animal and we carve it down in the shop and see how it looks, and then we go forward from there. And then if it works out, we get into a pretty good steady rhythm with the farmer. It just depends on the size of the herds of pigs, chickens, or whatever they have to supply us.
The really interesting thing is that there are so many farmers who want to do this and are doing it well. These are all people who have really struggled and really, really have the heart to make it. I mean, it's our way of eating doesn't support the small farmer. We were looking to get away from the factory farming way of eating. And so we contacted people that we knew were in the community working with small slaughterhouses, working with small farmers. And what we found were farmers who were doing a really, really good job of raising their animals on pasture.
Pasture-raised animals, whether it's a grain finish or a grass finish, have a different flavor. They have a stronger beef flavor. They have a different chew to them. They react differently to flame than conventional animals. The muscle is almost alive, not in a grotesque way, but in a very healthy way. When you're cutting it up as a butcher, it's night and day. When we're carving these animals up, making steaks, making roasts, you can see inside the animal how they were treated.
And the reason that we felt that it was important was because anytime you raise an animal on its natural diet, which is grass, it's better for the health of the animal. It's certainly better for the health of the environment. This is how animals have been raised for hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's certainly better for anyone who eats this kind of meat. There's no antibiotics, there's no hormones, you don't have to feed these animals any of that stuff because they're living healthy lives.
Everything tastes fresher or cleaner. It's very hard to describe until you actually try it. It's happened to almost every single person that's ever walked through here. It's a definitely different flavor though. It's very interesting. When we first opened up, people would not necessarily think the meat's bad, but they would compare it almost to venison in the beginning because real grass-fed, 100% grass-fed animals taste so different. It's almost a different animal in general.
We can tell in our meat and just in the way that it tastes and the way that the fat renders and things like that, for us, that it's just a cleaner, more natural kind of product. We get 2 to 3 steer in a week, and we cut everything down, which is highly, highly unusual. Almost no one else does that. And then we basically are able to, you know, sell that in our retail store.
For us, it was such a great change that it really changed our lives. You start understanding that how different the commercial industry treats things.
This year we were asked to be in the Rhinebeck Farmers Market. It's really been a wonderful experience. We get to, one, hang out with our friends who are farmers. Then we get to meet a whole new community. And the difference between people who walk into our store and the farmers market is so interesting. We expected that the community would be the same, that, you know, the people who would come to our booth would be the same kind of people who are coming to the store. And in fact, it's been a totally different experience. One is that the people who come to our store already have the philosophy, already have the questions in their mind about how they're eating, what they're eating. But when you're in a farmer's market, you don't necessarily feel that way. You're there because one, it might just be an experience, or two, you might just be picking up peaches that are in season and you know that's the best place to get it. So we kind of take a lot of people by surprise, and we're able to use that booth to talk about what we do. And also, you know, to get people who may not notice us in another environment. They are more apt to see us at the farmer's market than in any other place. And so that's worked really well. It makes us so happy.